Hello, and happy 4th of July to our American friends. We are Out of the Park Developments. More importantly, on your screen pictured right now is Jeff, and I am Adam, community manager of Franchise Hockey Manager, and this is our regular Wednesday stream because we don't even take holidays off. And
well, neither one of us is American, but technically not a holiday.
That depends where you are.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're back with our 1979-1980 Toronto Maple Leafs stream. And Jeff, what's happening here? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been 2-3 weeks. We're a little bit ahead of where the real Leafs were at this point in the season. They finished a few games below 500. We are just barely above 500, but that's actually pretty good in the context of this league. It's good enough for 6th overall, because we've got 3-4 teams with really crazy lopsided records that are just dominating everybody else, and then there's this big group below them that's a step down, which includes us. And this is the playoff format in these years is from, I think this is the first season they did it, is just the top 16 teams, completely conferences, divisions, completely irrelevant. Schedule is perfectly balanced, so you play every other team in the league 4 times. So there's really no point to divisions or conferences here. We just need to finish in the top 16 to make the playoffs, and we're in pretty good shape for that. But
this is year 2 of our historical game, which means there is some guys on different teams who are kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's things have moved around a bit.
The top shot blocking defenseman is Ray Bork, who's his first year in the league.
Yeah, and drafted by Detroit this time, who's again in last place, so they'll get no lottery in these years either, so they're going to get the first overall pick again, most likely. But the problem for us is we're good, fairly good, and we're not. The whole point of this replay was not to repeat the problems that the real Leafs had at this point, where they broke up the roster. Harold Ballard and Punch Imlach traded away Lanny McDonald, Daryl Sittler, Tiger Williams, Ian Turnbull, Mike Palmateer, basically the core of the team over the space of 2.5 years. And that was pretty much the end of the Leafs for the 80s. They didn't, I think, finish above 500 again until sometime in the 90s. They were out of the playoffs most years, even in the years where it was very difficult to miss the playoffs, where it was 16 out of 21 teams, like it is in this one. And we're trying to avoid that, but the problem we're running into is, we've made it to this point. Since we know what's going to happen, have a good idea of what's going to happen in the future. We're able to pick up, I think Goulet. I think we drafted him. Or, no, he might have been a free agent coming out of the WHA. Joey Mullen, we got him out of college. We know those guys are going to turn out well. Kevin Lowe was the guy we drafted. And picked up Michel Dion in a trade fairly cheaply, I think. Or did we sign him as a free agent? Might have got him as a free agent. We got him in waivers from Hartford.
Waivers.
So it cost us nothing. So we've got, it's a reasonably deep team, and keep in mind when you're looking at the ability scores here, if you're used to playing the modern game, the historical scores tend to be a little bit lower than what you'd normally see in the modern one. I'm gradually working on rescaling that so it all matches up. But right now, it's not that unusual to have a team with have a decent team where the best players are only 3.5 stars. Us in this case, Salming and McDonald and Sittler.
I'm not saying we should sign somebody, but the free agents list has a 3-star guy on it.
Yeah, Keith Crowder played for the Bruins, and they actually signed him as a free agent they got him as a WHA free agent, and he hasn't signed with anybody yet. No. Did he ever? Nope. Might as well grab him if he's out there like that. A little on the expensive side for a relatively inexperienced guy. Let's see if I can get him for the next step down. Nope, he's sticking to that, so we should be able to sign him, probably drop him on the farm team, or may send Peter Lee down. But anyhow, that's not going to be really enough to put us over the top when we've got these teams with ridiculous records like Montreal and the Islanders and even the Sabres this year and Flyers. This was the year that the Flyers won 30, 35, 36 in a row near the beginning of the year. So it's just not going to be good enough to do that. So I'm kind of seeing the wisdom now of how the Real Leafs sort of aggressively rebuilt the team. They just didn't do a great job of trading and...
Can you aggressively rebuild a team when you waste 10 years?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were starting from a pretty good point. They just didn't...
well, I guess what's Vancouver on now? About year 7?
Yeah. So, what, you're going to harass me about the free agency now?
No, I'm just trying to make parallels here. You're saying a quick free agency, so...
Yeah, which, I mean, we can't really do that in this game because other than these few guys that are floating around who got released at the end of when the WHA merged and died off. So we picked up a few of those, but it's not really a viable long-term strategy. There's not going to be good free agents every year for another decade and a half or so. So that's not going to work for us. So we pretty much have to make trades, which is what the Real Leafs did and why they ran into trouble. And I'm thinking the thing we should maybe be targeting is that second-line center spot. Walt McKechnie is the guy we've got there now, and he's kind of running out of gas. Pat Boutette's developing, but he was really more of a winger than a center, although we're pretty deep on the wings. Group of defensemen, I think we'll be okay with that for a while. Turnbull is probably going to head south fairly soon, but Salming will be good. And Lowe's are going to be good. I think that's something we can maybe address through the draft. But
I'm not saying we'd be able to get him, but Dennis Maruk is on his final year of his contract.
Yeah, contracts aren't going to make that much of a difference in trade value or anything. In this game, he went to Washington in real life. But the interesting thing about this is he's pushed because Minnesota hung on to him instead of trading him to get to the Capitals. He's pushed Bobby Smith and Tim Young down the depth chart in Minnesota. And now they've got Mike Eaves coming on as well. So Young is almost a fourth-line center at this point, and he's a pretty good playmaker. He'd be a solid second-line guy. But the interesting one is Bobby Smith, who's the first-round draft pick the year before, and has had one good year and wound up eventually traded to Montreal and was on when they won that last cup in '87, I think.
Okay, so before you do that, I can't help but notice we have a couple of free agents we should maybe be making an
not really a big deal in this case. They're not going to go anywhere. There's no real free agency, so we can even wait till the end of the season if we want on Palmateer and Williams are the big guys.
Lanny McDonald is a free
Lanny
agent.
McDonald too, so
I would think that's kind of a bigger deal. Myself, Jeff, but that's...
Let's see what he wants.
Maybe you want to trade him to the Canucks.
He's actually only asking for slightly more than what he's getting now.
And a 5-year deal?
Yeah, I'm going to take the first couple of years down a little bit lower. Remember, there's no cap or anything, so we don't have to worry about that. And McDonald will be fine should be fine until his early 30s.
Dylan88 Jr. in the chat says, think I'm going to have to start a 1970 Canucks game. Bring us a cup. Probably won't happen, but you never know.
I mean, you can't do any worse than the real ones did.
Yeah.
Okay, I got them down a little bit. So shade under 200 on average. I'm going to leave the others for the moment because I still want to think about that Minnesota thing. I was looking at them too. If we get Smith, he's not a superstar or anything, but he'll be a solid center for longer than Sittler will. He can be our number 2 guy for now, and then when Sittler starts to slow down, he can maybe step into that top line role. So let's see what they want to do for him. And it's saying they're weak at center, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they've actually got a lot of depth there.
You better not trade Thomas Steen.
Nope, I'm waiting on him. See, their depth is pretty nice actually after the merge. Oh, their left wing doesn't look good, and we've got some. Yeah, their left wing's actually pretty bad. So as much as I didn't want to make moves with significant players, got John Anderson, who was in real life had a pretty good rookie year this season, but he's kind of struggled for us after being a regular last year. The other one is Dan Maloney, who's gone downhill here a little earlier than he did in real life, but he could still be a solid third, fourth line grinder. So I'm going to try Anderson, who's not making a big contribution right now. What? What?
I just I noticed we have several goalies, so I just decided to shop around Jim Rutherford since he's playing for our AHL team.
Yep.
And the only offer that came back, or the offer that made me laugh, was the Winnipeg Jets offered 30-year-old left winger Rick Dudley for 30-year-old goaltender Jim Rutherford.
It's a future GM trade.
Yes. So I couldn't help but snicker at that.
Let me see. Well, maybe if Rutherford's got a little value, we're okay for backup or third stringers, and the Stars are not. So if I can
listen, looking at this upcoming draft, there isn't anyone who's really standing out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember 81. Was that the Wickenheiser year, I think? Yeah. Or no, this is 80. This is 80. Can't remember offhand who the number one was that year.
NHL draft. Quick look.
So we've got a...
This is Wickenheiser draft.
That is a Wickenheiser draft? I thought Wickenheiser was 81.
1980 NHL draft. Montreal from Colorado.
Oh no, 81 was... Wait, was 81 Bellows? Can't remember. I thought he was 82.
No, I'm looking for you.
I think I'm off by like a year. But...
Although there should be some decent guys in this draft if they're there. Howard Chuck was 81. That's right, too.
Howard Chuck, there we go. Yeah, Howard Chuck was... Yeah, that's right. And you guys got Babbage number 2 in 80, so he's there. Yeah. But I think we've done this year once before.
But I don't actually see him on the list right now.
Okay, so Anderson Rutherford, 4th rounder for Don Cutts and Bobby Smith, and it's highly likely they'll accept it, so let's try it and play forward a little bit. I'm not going to change the lineup just yet in case that does go through. We're going to get killed by Montreal here. More than likely. Yeah, 5-2 loss. They're just that good.
What if we tried picking up another first-round pick? If we're gonna... if we package Rutherford and somebody up, we're already missing most of our... we only have our 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 6th, but if we package Rutherford and our 2nd, we might be able to get...
I already did. Rutherford was in this trade, though, so...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you had done... Okay.
And it looks like McDonald turned down that contract offer. So, okay, Minnesota did accept that, so we are getting Bobby Smith, which gives us actually a lot of depth at forward now. What I can try doing is take Walt McKechnie, who was our second-line center, and shop him around, and let's see what kind of offers we get there. No, that's terrible from Washington. Yeah, this isn't promising so far. Either washed up or guys who are never going anywhere. Yeah. John Marks, no. And what about Jets and Nordiques? Cam Connor, no, don't want him either. Craig Levy, who was a pretty good offensive defenseman prospect at one point, and he's 1.5 stars, but yeah, there's just nothing. None of these offers are anywhere good enough to accept, so we'll leave that alone. And we'll just go with the really deep roster, I think. Maybe this will help us in the playoffs. But I need to... Curtin comes out. Smith comes in. And what were you saying? Try shopping Crowder around? See if we can get a draft pick? Or...
Well,
actually,
I was just saying, if we could pick up another first-round pick, we could rebuild their defense pretty quick with the guys coming in.
Gonna try shopping Peter Lee and putting Crowder into the lineup. We only got him last year, but... Wow, Ted Green's still playing. That's a surprise.
If you send Peter Lee and a second, you could get Los Angeles' first, I think.
You think, or you actually did it?
It says, I think they will probably accept that offer.
Yeah, because most of what I'm getting here is
actually
mediocre.
If you want to hold on to the second, you can trade your 5th and 6th round picks with Peter Lee and probably get there first.
To the Kings?
Yes.
For, let's see, it was Lee in the 5th and the 6th. What if I do the 6th from 81 for the next year instead? Yeah, I think I can get. I think I could split the picks across 2 years and do that.
Okay. Well, the 5th and 6th they will accept.
Yeah.
Zooming ahead a little bit.
Okay.
Which gives us a little bit of ammunition.
Take Lee out of the lineup for now. See how the AI wants to do this with Smith in the lineup. Oh wow, actually that's crazy. We don't want to do that. It's pushing Sittler down to the 4th line.
Sittler not know how to play wing?
He's probably rated fairly high on the left wing, but he wasn't really, they never really used him as a winger in real life. I think he played a little bit on the left side after they traded him to Philadelphia in 82.
14 on the left side.
Yeah, so he could go there eventually, but really Boutet is the one that fits better at left wing. I'm actually just going to leave it as is for the one game. Do what the AI wants, even though it's not going to give Sittler many minutes. And we wound up losing to Atlanta because of it. But I just want to see if that Lee trade goes through. Oh, we got to do something about that. McDonald contract offer. Okay, let's just give him exactly what he wants and see what happens. And we got one more game to play against the Kings, so we should probably get a response back against them. We win that one 4-1. And there we go. Yeah, they did accept the trade, so I will finish that. And McDonald signed his contract. That's also good. So we got probably a mid-first rounder from LA. In addition to our own, and then nothing after that.
So we might have just kind of 2 back-to-back picks. That's not impossible.
Okay, I'm going to shuffle this around a little bit. We want Sittler back on the first line. Smith goes on the second. Kechny can stay on the third. I think we'll leave the 4th line center spot open. That'll get filled by whoever. I think that's the least complicated way to do it. It's putting Crowder on the second line with Smith and Boutet. I don't know if I like that, but leave it there for now.
Should mention too, if you're not familiar with historical NHL, you do not have a full set of lines here, Jeff. How come?
Only they hadn't increased the roster size. That doesn't happen until 82, I think. So we got one player less, and we go into Edmonton and win 5-2 there. So first game with the new lineup works out pretty well, and McKechnie, who we almost traded, gets third star. And Borje Salming get facial cut. That's not good news for him. If you don't Google Borje Salming and cut, you'll get a really ugly picture when he got his face sliced open by a skate, and I think it was 78 or 79. A ridiculous amount of stitches. Yeah, it's like when his face is basically held together in the middle by a ton of stitches. Yeah, that's
it was actually more amazing he didn't lose his eye on that.
Yeah, it went right over top of it. Okay, but he is out with that, so we'll temporarily swap Trevor Johansson in from him. Because it's only Vancouver we're playing here. And we shut them out 3-0 with the backup in, Michel Dion and Walt McKechnie, another big game, so kind of lit a fire under him after almost trading him. Where are we now, points-wise? We're a little... won a couple, lost a couple, so we're still hanging in there. Trading deadline is still about 4 or 5 weeks away, so nothing to worry about yet. We'll see how we're doing if we need to make another move at that point, but I don't want to disrupt the team too much more. And a 4-3 win with Dion back in goal. Colorado fires their coach. Oh, development report. That was a little scary the last time we looked at it, I think, but this isn't looking too bad. Crowder, we just signed as a free agent, is coming along nicely. Mullen gets a little, so is Lowe. Goalies, Thomas Steen, that's good news. And, yeah, a couple of just minor leaguers in New Brunswick, and Dave Farish's fighting rating goes down a little bit, not a big deal at all.
Oh, no.
Nothing to worry about. And board confidence update. Slightly disappointing, but I think we're doing okay. He's satisfied with us. And Salming is almost ready to go back. Oh no, he's still red. It won't let him in yet, so maybe we'll get him on. We got a home and home against Chicago. So do we get him back for the second half of this? Palmetier in the first one. And we win again, 5-1. Big game from the first line, looks like. And didn't get him back for the game 2 against the Hawks. Starting to back up this one out, and Hawks beat us 6-3. Oh, they got Glenn Anderson. Looks like they picked him up in the draft. Oh, that's not good, and we also lost Bobby Smith after he bruised spinal cord from running into the goal. Ouch. So... Kechny goes into his spot. And what I'm doing now, if you're just wondering, I'm shuffling. I'm using the replace with feature. I don't want to put Curtin or Jones into Smith's spot directly. So first I switch Smith for McKechnie, so that bumps him up into his spot. And now Smith is down on the third line into McKechnie's spot, and I'm going to put in Curtin there, which is actually what I should have done with Salming, but he's going to be back too soon to worry about. Minnesota fires their coach, so apparently, despite all the depth, they're not doing that well. Salming almost at 100%, and I think we're at where the All-Star break would have been in real life, so we had a few days off there. And Salming is not quite healthy, but I'm going to put him back in anyhow. I'm going to make a contract offer to Palmatier, our goalie, see if he's... Oh yeah, he barely wants a raise. He wants to go up to 155 from 154, so I think he can have his extra 1,000 a year. Not going to break the bank. And with Salming back in, we got the Bruins, and we beat them 3-2, who were ahead of us, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, by quite a bit. So that's kind of a big win for us, and we're slowly creeping up. I don't think we're, still in 6th place. Yeah, it's actually Boston. It's the next team up for us, and it's about a 10-point gap. So if we're going to take a run at them, that helped. And yep. Detroit buried right down at the bottom again. And Palmatier signs his contract. I think that just leaves, of the significant guys, Tiger Williams is the only one left, so let's get that done now too as well. Don't really need to, but... And he's also asking for pretty much the same amount, so he can have it. And he signed it, and Salming is back to 100% healthy. And we're about a month out from the trading deadline. We should have Bobby Smith back then. He's 1 to 2 weeks away. And 1-1 tie against the Kings. That's good. We get a point out of it, and we. Oh no, we would have rather had them lose and push the draft pick down farther. Trivia from Sewage Man in the chat. Both Anderson and Palmatier had burger places in Toronto, like their own burger place, or was it like a McDonald's franchise?
Together. Or were they sharing it together?
And isn't 80 when... Yeah, 80 is the... This is the WHA merger year. So we lost a few guys in the expansion draft at the start of the season, and we've got the dead last Red Wings. An easy 3-1 win for us. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's funny, Palmatier isn't really that well remembered now, but he was really popular for a couple of years in the late 70s. But then they traded him to the Capitals when he wanted more money for Robert Picard, and he hurt his back really early on with the Caps, and wasn't ever the same after that. Toronto got him back at one point, but... He was an all-star 1 year and never really made it back to that level. Just a bunch of scouting, nothing important. Flames and Blues trading Reggie Lemelin. And Smith had a setback. That's not good news. Considerably longer than anticipated. What does that actually translate to? He was 1 to 2. Oh no, 1 to 2 months. That's less than perfect. Is that going to push us to, let's say, 2 months at the outside? We're in mid-February. That's going to be close to the start of the playoffs at best. Yeah, I remember that series with the Islanders where they upset the Islanders. That was 78, so we started this game right the year after that happened. We're trying to avoid the whole Ballard mess. And a 4-4 tie against Pittsburgh. I think we got a little undefeated streak going here. I'm kind of undecided about what to do with Smith. Do we need to pick anybody else up? How far are we from the deadline now? Still about 3 weeks. Let's see how the injury's coming along, and if it's scaring me, we'll...
Even putting, like, getting Crowder's going to help balance out the offense anyways.
Yeah. And up against the Rangers. 5-1 win, so have a look at the streak. How many games in a row have we won here? Or not lost in, at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in a row. Half of those are ties, but still. It's a point. And we're 7 points back of Boston now, and I think we're getting a little... Oh, the Oilers are creeping up. And they did get Gretzky in this game. They don't, not necessarily a guaranteed thing when you're replaying these years, but they happen to get him here. Chat question: when you're playing in historic mode, do players grow like they did in real life, or is it randomized? It depends. You can set that up in your when you're setting it when you're setting the game up at the beginning. If you can have their ratings recalculated every year based on how they played that year, or you can just have regular development happen, in which case guys can be better or worse than they actually turned out to be. And we've got this set up with regular development, so we don't really know for sure how guys are going to turn out. I can remember pretty well how all these guys actually went in real life, but it makes it a little bit more challenging if you've got regular development turned on. And the Islanders, this may be ugly. Oh wow, they picked up Pelle Lindbergh in the draft, it looked like. And there goes our win streak, 4-1 loss. Yeah, just...
Of course.
Stupid. They weren't actually this good in real life at this point, but... it actually looks like the top 3 or 4 have lost a few more games now, but still they're running away with it.
Yeah, we were never going to catch.
No, I don't expect them to now. Take a look at Smith's recovery in a second, and we lose 2 in a row now. It's the Hawks this time. It's not fantastic. 2 to 3 weeks later. Okay, yeah, we're good on Smith. It's only 3 weeks at the outside, so he'll be back before the end of the regular season. So I will maybe keep an eye on the trading block. Gretzky has a 12-game point streak. Is he leading the league in scoring? Haven't even looked this year.
He wasn't when we started the save.
Yeah, Trotter's up by 2 points on him. This is a year where he would have tied with Marcel Dion. Or he did tie with Dion, and Dion won Ross because he had more goals. Gudu says, look at the goal differential. Yeah, crazy. All the top 3 teams are over 100 in goal differential, and Flyers and Bruins are pretty good too, and after that it heads downhill. Yeah, and then the Wings are kind of a train wreck, and the Jets are only 9 points ahead of them.
Yeah,
you don't like to talk about the early late 70s, early 80s Jets for some reason, Adam. Why is that?
No, we've talked about this before.
Yeah. And we got them tonight, actually. They picked up Jerry Cheevers, who hasn't retired yet like he did in real life. That's another thing about having regular development on. The players will retire before or after when they actually did. And we lose to the Jets. That's embarrassing, and this is getting a little worrying. So
yeah, it'd be like almost losing to the Canucks.
That wouldn't be quite as bad in this game, although the Canucks were terrible the first year we played this.
It'd be pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Starting to see a few more deals as we get close to the trading deadline, but not really a big one. Back-to-back games against the Blues in Colorado. I'd like to get Palmateer warmed up a little, and do get a 2-1 win against St. Louis. Yeah, I think I've got the lineup set correctly, and Colorado should be another easy 2 points, I hope.
When was the last time we put the backup in?
He's starting tonight, actually. He's actually played pretty regular.
All right.
And we get a 6-4 win out of him. Dion has played, let me see here, 20 games this year, and Palmateer is 45, and the stats pretty much bear that out. Palmateer's about half a goal lower on goals against average, and save percentage is a dozen points higher. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that.
With our 2 first-round picks, we should be able to pick up a couple of decent NHLers.
Yeah.
Looking at guys from this 1980 draft.
Oops, the wrong thing here. I wanted to look at... I don't want to look at the free agent center. I'm looking for a trading block. And nobody really of note on the trading block. Montreal's trying to move Doug Risebrough, but we don't really need another center. Eddie Johnstone is in Edmonton, and he did go on to be a pretty good winger for the Rangers for a couple of years, but I don't think we really have a spot for him. And well, Jerry Hart on the Islanders, 6th or 7th defenseman at best. Yeah, nothing on the trading block yet, but there's another couple of weeks, so we'll check again then. And there we go, that's good. Bobby Smith is ready to resume skating, so he'll be back soon-ish. Development report. Yeah, we're back to having a bunch of guys heading downhill again. Some fairly important ones too. Palmateer, Sittler losing a point. The young guys are developing, but I'm getting a little worried about how some of our key older guys are starting to slide in certain categories already. And
no, they're going to move at some point.
Yeah. Just, we'd preferably like that to happen after our... So the window for us being able to do something is going to close. And Smith is only a week or 2 away. I got a tough game tonight against the Flyers. Well, no, I want Palmateer starting that one. 3-3 tie. Looks like we actually might have... Did we... Oh yeah, it looks like we got the tying goal with the goalie out.
All right.
Another board confidence report. Pretty much the same thing. Not thrilled with the way it's gone this year, but happy with us in general. Fortunately, we don't have Harold Ballard as the owner here, or we might be under a lot more pressure right now. And another easy win against Detroit, 9-2. 5-point night out of McKechnie. Pretty good for the third line center. Or second line, I guess, with Smith out. Oh, I should look at the training for Smith. I think that's what all I want to do there. Swap the goalie categories for training, and we'll go back to that. Yeah, more minor deals as we get close to the deadline. Haven't seen anything big yet. And the deadline, we were 5 days away. And a 6-3 win over Pittsburgh. So I think we're back on the right track as far as that goes. Wow, 5-goal night for Lanny McDonald in that game.
That's
Celebrating a
not
new
bad at all.
contract. Still another week or two on Smith, but I'm not going to bother looking for a trade replacement. And what do we got in New Brunswick for defensemen? That's looking kind of thin. wondering if we should maybe look around for a depth defenseman at the draft, although the only thing I would really want to trade for that is a draft pick, unless we got a forward prospect I can move. I don't really want to give up any more. No. Art Rutland is a good junior scorer in real life, but never really went anywhere in the pros. We might be able to try shopping him around, see if I can get a depth defenseman in return. Stuart Smith, Whaler in real life, 1 star. That's could do worse. Just looking for defensemen here, yeah. Lars Zetterström, who's probably not, yeah, 1 star as well. Playing a little more in this game than he actually did. Oh, we got Dave Hansen. We got one of the actual Hansen brothers, who were played by the Carlson brothers in the movie. But he is pretty much done, 1/2 a star, so I'm not going to bother with him. I think what I'm going to do is trade Rutland for, who's it, for Stuart Smith, who was offering him now. Yeah, the Hawks. We'll take him. Smith was kind of a 6th, 7th defenseman at Hartford for a couple of years. And that's just really a minor league deal for us, and he should have, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, he auto-assigned to New Brunswick. So not a big deal there. If somebody gets hurt, we've at least got, we don't have to put a single or a 1/2 star guy in. Or we need a couple injuries for that, but... And another small deal, John Wensink leaving Boston. Don't think we're going to actually do anything on the trading deadline, although I'll take a brief look at the trading block to see if there's anything of interest on there. And a big 8-2 win over Quebec.
Excellent.
I haven't looked at their stats in a bit. I should do that. Looks like that was a back-to-back game against them. Gretzky's got another goal streak going, apparently.
That's somehow not surprising.
Not particularly, no. Okay, points. Yeah, we're actually pretty big improvement over real life now at this point. They were, I think, 35 and 40 and 5 or something like that for the season, or 30, 35 and 15. So we're ahead of that. I think we're actually more or less equal to what they did in real points with about 14 games left to go. Whalers and Oilers, a couple of the expansion teams creeping up on us. And we're 8 points behind Boston, so I don't think we're going to close that. If the playoffs start now, our first round opponent, if I'm figuring this correctly, would be Quebec, which we should be able to beat, but then it's the second round we're going to run into the tough teams. Play this and then look at the trading block. Michel Dion, the backup, heating up a little bit, and another blowout win, 7-2 this time over Quebec.
Getting goalies hot is never a bad thing.
Trading block, anybody new? Nope, and it's actually cleared out a little bit. The only decent player left is Jerry Hart, and we got a defenseman already in that trade, so we're not doing anything at the deadline.
Unless we get Wayne Gretzky.
And doesn't look like much of anything happened at the trading deadline. Oh, the Islanders did trade Hart to Atlanta. Oh, got Greg Fox back to the Islanders.
Try and trade for Wayne Gretzky?
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Oh, great. The Islanders got even better. So they got Greg Fox out of Atlanta for a couple of washed-up defensemen. And Blues in the first round, and we cruise to another easy win. We're on a bit of a roll here. I was going to look at our player stats. Sittler's gone an 8-game assist streak, and Salming is hurt day to day. Thigh muscle, so nothing serious. Gonna shuffle Turnbull up into his spot, and then Johansson in for Turnbull. We should be getting real close to Smith coming back.
All right, since you got a little bit of a lull,
yeah.
How did you feel about Vancouver's free agents?
Well, I mean, it's Beagle and Roussel. It's a little weird to give Jay Beagle a 4-year deal when he's, what, 32 already? 31, 32? But it's not like they spent so much money that any of that isn't fixable. They can always move those guys. It's not the Louis Eriksson contract over again, so... Would have been nice to pick up, a Tavares, but I guess that wasn't going to happen this year. Still got a lot of cap room to play with, though. And so, yeah, McKechnie is actually being pretty productive. Smith was doing... Well, he didn't play much for us until he got hurt. So lots of secondary scoring. Don Maloney's kind of bounced back. And wow, Crowder, who he got as a free agent, 22 points in his first 24 games. So, solid group of young guys. Veterans are producing. Goulet in his first NHL year is actually leading us in scoring. So, I think we're in reasonably good shape getting towards the playoffs. Oh, Detroit is finally on the looking to dump their GM. And we'll be playing the Rangers without Salming in goal. We wound up losing 3-2 because of it. And that ends Sittler's assist streak too. Claims, and did we get Salming back yet? I don't think so. Nope. Playing Atlanta. And they got U.S. Olympic hero Jim Craig in goal, and we wound up beating him 6-2.
Gouda Creatives asked in the chat, will it be easier to sign Gretzky as he gets older in the game?
Yep, he'll, gradually he's going to be asking for less and less, and so the amount will come down, but there's just, there's nothing we've got that really would fit into any combination I think that the Oilers would want. This point, give it a few more years when Peter Pocklington is running out of money and needs to move him. Okay, Bobby Smith is almost ready. Looks like we're going to get a couple of games in before he's back, though. Fortunately, one of them's against the Jets. And we win 7-4. Less fortunately, the next one is against the Flyers, which isn't going to be as easy. Salming is almost back. Smith is almost back. We got in goal. I'm gonna throw the backup in because I don't want to screw up. Palmateer's got is a little bit hot. See if we can keep that going. Flyers win 4-1. So yeah, it wouldn't have helped to have Palmateer in there. Still no Smith or Salming, and we've got Buffalo, another tough game. We'll use Palmateer for this one because I think we have a shot at winning this. Apparently not. 5-2 loss. So again, it's at 4 or 5 teams at the top of the league that are just having way too much trouble with. Salming is back at least. So what I do to get him back in the lineup is first switch Johansson and Turnbull's positions. And then Johansson and Salming. And if I did this correctly, I check the lineup. Yeah, Salming's back into his regular place, you can see there. And it's capped, so we should get a game there. And 6-2 win against the Capitals. And chat question, interested to know your thoughts on European goalies being drafted again in the CHL import draft. Oh, I didn't see they were doing that. Well,
yeah, this is the first year
they're
doing it again.
Yeah.
Several went.
I hadn't heard, yeah, I mean, it's a stupid rule to begin with. I mean, what's the difference between I don't know how that's really going to develop Canadian goalies any better by excluding those guys.
Well, it's more, if you're letting everybody in, what's the big difference between letting goalies in or letting other players in?
Yeah. Just makes Hockey Canada look a little silly.
Well, they could bar everybody else, but they choose not to.
Injury to sideline Oilers center Gretzky. What happened? Herniated disc and out for 8 weeks, so goodbye Oilers from the playoffs this year. And Gretzky also got hurt in his first game in the first season in WHA. Didn't play the whole season, so I guess that's going to put him out for the rest of the year. Had he even taken the lead? No, he was 1 point behind Trottier. He's 6 points of where he was finished with in the real 79-80. So it looks like Brian Trottier gets the scoring championship this year. Lafleur is a little bit back. He didn't get hurt this year, where he was running into injury problems in real life. At this point, and had that bad car accident. I think that was 81. Nearly had a signpost go through his head, came through his windshield. Why is Smith still day-to-day? Come on already. Okay, we got the Gretzky-less Oilers, so this shouldn't be a tough game. Yeah, 4-0 shutout. Not so tough without him. And Boutet has gone from winger to full-time left wing, or center to full-time left wing, so that actually suits us, I think. And finally, Bobby Smith is back. So we get him with 4 games left in the regular season. Will it really matter? Oh, wow, Hartford. Oh, Hartford is on a bit of a tear. They passed us, and they're 5 points ahead and pushed us down to 7th. We're still looking to come back in the first round, though.
How's LA doing since we got their first pick?
Yeah, good question. LA is 14th overall, so we're looking at the number 8 pick from them. A little better than we expected, I think.
Mm.
So McKechnie swaps with Smith, and then Curtin swaps with McKechnie, which should put McKechnie on the 3rd line. Yeah. Oops. How did he get the goon roll? We definitely don't want that. Yeah, it looks okay tactics-wise for down the stretch. A good development report where there isn't a bunch of minuses.
Finally.
Yeah, it's getting a little worrying the way some of those guys are headed downhill. And 6-1 win over Hartford. So we got a couple of points back on them there. If we can get something off of Boston here, that'd be a big help. I think we can still conceivably get that 6th place spot, maybe even the 5th one back. I don't think we're eliminated quite yet. And we beat the Bruins 7-5, so where are we now? One point back of the Whalers, 3 points back of the Bruins, so we're not even eliminated from 5th yet. What were you saying?
I said still punching up. Not quite there yet.
And Detroit fires their coach with a couple of games left in the season. And now it looks like Washington's coach is in trouble. So, two games left? Yeah, 2 games left. Got Minnesota and Buffalo. Hartford is 3 points. Yeah, Hartford and Boston both 3 points ahead of us, so gonna need a small miracle to get anywhere other than 7th overall. And nope, that'll be the end of it. We lost 4-1 to Minnesota. And we got a fairly tough team in the last night of the season, so there is just no way I'm going to put... yeah, the backup is going to start this one. Yeah, I had the right idea there. Maybe we get a point here, but it doesn't really matter. Nope, 4-2 loss against Buffalo, so we finish at 41, 29, and 10, which is a big improvement over their real-life record, but still may not be enough. And we get 7th overall, well, 15-point gap between 7th and 8th. And I think we're getting Atlanta in the first round. Oh, trophy winners. I'm running a little low on time, so get through this. We'll have to do the playoffs next time. Oh, these are just the nominees. Do we get a coach or GM of the year nominee?
Probably not.
Not coach. Not GM. Totally underappreciated. Oh, whoops, so it looks like we got St. Louis. Looks like the playoffs shuffled around. I didn't realize we had a game here. Game 1 of the playoffs against St. Louis, so we will sim that, and 4-1 win for us. Or was I counting the point? Oh, no, there we are. Yeah, that is the game 1 of the playoffs. That's odd. We started like a day before everybody. How'd that happen? Okay, so a quick look at the playoff matchups. Chicago over in Montreal, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Kings did make the playoffs, so they didn't drop down any farther for us. Oilers and Canucks, so the Canucks might get past the no Gretzky Oilers. Colorado made it in, playing Philadelphia. Hartford and Quebec both make it their first year, and we got the Blues, who... Oh, was I counting that wrong? Must have been. But we should be able to handle them, I think. St. Louis. Yeah, they're missing a couple of guys from their real... Oh, they got Yari Curry, though. Not great, but I think some of their guys have headed downhill. Wow, that's a really terrible defense, and goaltending's kind of questionable, too. So, yeah, we can beat these guys. And just to wrap it up, final look at the stats for the regular season. Trottier wins the scoring championship, 139 points. Lafleur is 5 points back, and Gretzky 3 behind him. Do we see any Leafs anywhere? Oh, Pat Boutet, despite switching to the wing, was up in the face-off leaders. Tiger Williams led the league in penalty minutes, 319. Oh, Lanny McDonald was in the power play goal leaders. And did Palmateer show up anywhere in the goalie leaders? Not in wins. Not in goals against average. Not in save percentage. And I thought he was actually doing reasonably well for a while. Wow, Billy Smith... 169 is a crazy goals against average for that era. Montreal finished first overall. Yeah, see that. So it's 4 killer teams at the top that maybe somebody will get an upset and we'll sneak by them. Wishful thinking. Okay, I guess we can wrap it up there, Adam.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning into another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. You can also find us on our official website, which is otpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to our official forums. And, we're also checking our Reddit, which we have a official franchise hockey Reddit as well. And, the Steam page, as the summer sale is ending here very shortly. If you're watching this right now and you haven't bought it, you're probably already too late.
Nope, you've got. Oh yeah, if you're watching the replay of it, you've actually gotten. It runs through the 5th, I think. So you've still got tomorrow. So do it quickly if you haven't bought yet, though.
Yes.
But
other than that, I think that's about everything. We'll be back next week with our 2022-2023 Florida Panthers series,
which is so far looking good, and I won't say any more to jinx us, but hopefully, finally, we get a win in one of our modern games. Would be nice. Yes. So, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll be back next week, and have a good 4th of July, or what remains of it.